an explosion of feathers and you say, wait a minute, it is not time for fireworks yet. What was that? You may have just seen a peregrine falcon hitting its next meal. And he's so quick, he'll actually dive down after it and start eating it before he ever hits the ground. So peregrine means the wanderer, because they fly for very long distances without having to land. They can even fly over large bodies of water without storing up fat ahead of time like most other birds do. And that's because he's just going to eat on the wing. He's flying over the Gulf of Mexico. He gets kind of hungry. He sees a sparrow flying underneath him, also migrating. He'll dive down, kill it, eat it, and keep flying without ever hitting the water. Talk about fast food. So this specific bird has his own interesting story. So Solo is 4 years old now, and he's been with us since he was an egg. So in the St. Louis area, we monitor peregrine falcon nests because peregrine falcons almost went extinct to something called DDT. Now, some of you might remember DDT. DDT was a pesticide that was being used, did an excellent job of killing bugs, did not leave the environment, worked its way up the food chain and into the bodies of apex predators, such as the peregrine falcon and the bald eagle. Now, it did not kill them right away. What it did was it made it so when mom laid eggs, the shells were so thin when she sat on them to keep them warm, they all broke. There were no new falcons or eagles being hatched in the wild, and their numbers plummeted. But we still have bald eagles and we still have peregrine falcons, so we know there's a happy ending to this story. And it's because of people just like you. It was the general public that raised the first alarm, and you said, hold on a second, what happened to our eagles? What happened to our falcons? Where'd they go? And you made such a big ruckus that you got DDT banned in the United States over 40 years ago. And places like the World Bird Sanctuary, we started breeding them for release into the wild. And in the 90s, the peregrine falcon was taken off of the endangered species list, and in the early 2000s, the bald eagle was taken off of the endangered species list, and we have people like you to thank for that. So we monitor peregrine falcon nests in the St. Louis area. Whenever the chicks are old enough, we make mom really, really mad. And we go up there with hard hats on because we learned how powerful the peregrines are. We take the chicks out. Don't worry, we put them back. But we take blood samples from them to make sure there's no human toxins in their bodies because we never want DDT or anything like it to happen again. And then we make mom really happy and we put the chicks back. However, there was a bit of a problem with his nest because mom got injured and she didn't survive. And dad said, see you guys later, because it definitely takes two parents to raise peregrine falcons. So we got permission from the government to take the 3 eggs that were in that nest and hatch them in our incubators. The only thing is the eggs had gotten cold, and that led to some problems. The first one that hatched such bad defects, she didn't survive. The second one was Solo. Solo has a crooked beak. The lower part of his beak sticks out to the side, and if we don't keep it trimmed down, he cannot eat. They're kind of like our fingernails. They're always growing. On top of that, he is bow-legged, so even if he were out in the wild and didn't have the beak problem, he can't land, and he can't do those cool falcon punches up in the sky. Now, the third one that hatched was perfectly healthy, and we put it in a foster nest. So somewhere out there, Solo has a sibling, being a wild peregrine falcon, but I think Solo got the better deal because food is quite literally brought to him on a platter. So Solo's got a pretty good deal. He's on vacation at all times. I think Solo's done a great job. Let's give him a round of applause. Good job, buddy. Solo loves going on these kinds of programs unless they're overnight programs because Solo will not sleep on not his perch. He will sleep on one perch and only one perch. Any other perch, he says, oh no, this is not mine, I can't sleep here, and he will scream all night and keep whoever is in the hotel room with him up all night. So he doesn't do too many overnights. Now the next bird we're going to bring out, he is a pretty big bird. Surprisingly not the biggest one that we have, but he's still a pretty big bird. This is Bogart, and he's a Eurasian eagle owl. Eurasian eagle owls are one of the 3 largest owl species in the world. The tallest owl is the great gray owl. You can find them in the northern parts of North America, in both America and Canada. The heaviest owl is the Blakiston's fish owl, found in Asia. And the owl with the longest wingspan from wingtip to wingtip belongs to the Eurasian eagle owl. Now, there are bigger eagle owls than Bogart because Bogart is a boy eagle owl. Whenever it comes to birds of prey, the females are bigger and better than the boys. I know I've made some people very happy and some other people very upset with that comment. But he's still a powerful hunter. Now, you'll notice he has these great big eyes. Owls have massive eyes. They're so big they almost touch inside of his head. You're seeing the smallest part of his eyes with your turning head. And they're shaped like light bulbs, the big ends on the inside. And that's because his eyesight is through the roof. Even during the day, his eyesight is only slightly worse than ours. See, owls don't sleep the way we sleep. I like a good 8 hours of sleep. Let's be honest, I get closer to 5, but I like to go for 8. Owls, during the day, they might take a nap here and there, but that's about it. They always keep part of their brain turned on. So being awake during the day, it's not a big deal for him. Now it's at night is when he's active. It's night when his eyesight's the best. It's almost 100 times better than ours. And it's because they're massive, but they're so big that, well, he can't really move them. If you hold your head still, you can still look up and down and all around because you have muscles attached to your eyes. Owls, they just don't have room for it. So you can see he can turn his head very, very far. He can turn his head about 270 degrees so he can look all the way behind him and even back a little bit further. And he can do that because of the number of neck bones that he has. Mammals, all of us, so you guys, myself, even the giraffe with that super long neck have 7 neck bones. That's right, same number of neck bones as a giraffe. They thought they were all that. We got the same numbers though. However, the owl has twice as many neck bones at 14, so he can turn his head much farther. Now those great big eyes cause another problem. You see, they take up most of the space inside of his skull, which doesn't leave room for muscles, but it doesn't leave room for much of something else very important. Owls aren't very smart. I'm not sure where the wise old owl came from because, well, they are the least intelligent bird of prey out there. They have a brain, it's just itty bitty. And it's focused 100% on sensory input, which means that he sees and hears much better than we do, and he knows how to take that information in order to help him hunt, defend territory, raise his young. He's as smart as an owl needs to be, but he's not going to help any of your children out on homework, even if it is algebra. That's right, it was absolutely hilarious, and I worked really hard on that joke. But he's not going to teach woodland critters life lessons, and he definitely cannot tell you how many licks it takes to get to the center of a Tootsie Roll Tootsie Pop. I was pretty devastated when I found that one out. So it is true what they say, the world may never know. Well, I think that Bogart is a beautiful giant owl. Let's give him a round of applause. Good job, buddy. So Bogart is one that was hatched at our sanctuary. He's been with us for all 18 years of his life, and he was hatched for the very purpose of teaching people just how awesome birds are. And also to maybe teach people that owls are not the best teachers because they're not very smart, but that's okay. Now this next bird that we have, he is my favorite kind of bird. He is a vulture. This is Desi, and he is a hooded vulture. So Desi was hatched in captivity, and we received him in 1995, as well as his mate. And we were told that one was a boy and one was a girl. And we're like, we're gonna breed these. This is a critically endangered species. There's barely any of them left in the world. So we're like, we're gonna breed them, and then we're gonna ship them off to Africa and release them there where they're found. Well, there was a problem. They were both boys. So instead of Desi and Lucy, we now have Desi and Fred. So instead, they get to teach people about the importance of vultures, and we're actually working with a group in Kenya right now, and we're also partnering with several zoos across the country on breeding endangered species of vultures. And so we're working on getting some female hooded vultures for our 2 bachelors so that they can help out their species in more than one way. Now, some people will say, yeah, but vultures are kind of gross. Why are they so important? Why do we need them more than any other animal on the planet? Because we do. They're the most important out there. Well, they eat dead stuff. That's why they don't have too many feathers on their head, because they don't eat fresh dead meat. They eat the rotting, gross, juicy stuff that nothing else really wants to touch. And the thing about dead things is they're breeding grounds for bacteria, parasites, and diseases. That's where things like botulism comes from, and rabies. They get spread through dead things. Say I'm a dog, a wild dog, and I eat something dead on the ground. Maybe that dead thing had rabies. Well, now I've got rabies, and I'm going to spread it to other things. However, if the vulture eats it, well, now the rabies are gone, because the vulture's stomach acid is like battery acid. It's through the roof. If he got scared right now and he threw up on Thomas, it'd burn a hole through Thomas's shirt. So those diseases don't stand a chance. So without vultures, diseases would be running rampant, and a lot of us might not be here. In India, where the vulture population has dropped by over 99%, well, they've seen a massive rise in rabies. They have more rabies-related human deaths than any place else in the world because they don't have vultures. So they're very important. Now, the reason why their numbers are dropping is, well, in Africa, there's a lot of really cool, big, giant species that everybody's like, well, maybe I want to poach that. So they don't want to kill the vulture, but the thing is, when poachers kill something illegally, well, what do vultures do when there's something dead? They fly in big circles around it. So The poachers don't want that because that gives away their position, so they're deliberately putting out poisons for the vultures. See, vultures can eliminate all diseases and bacteria and parasites. They can't get rid of toxins. But the number one cause for them is actually an accident. We're not doing it on purpose. And it's from something called diclofenac. Now, I actually had someone earlier today who knew what that was, and I was incredibly impressed. Diclofenac is an anti-inflammatory medication. It's kind of like ibuprofen. So it helps treat the symptoms, but it doesn't get rid of the disease. And so people were putting this in their cattle. They go, we're going to use this on our cows. Well, the cow is still going to die because it doesn't fix the disease. And diclofenac is toxic to vultures, so they're dying in droves. A single cow with diclofenac that dies can kill over 1,000 vultures. Their numbers have plummeted. We're lucky in the Americas, our vulture populations are doing really well, so we don't have to worry about some of those diseases quite as much as other places in the world do. So next time you see a vulture on the side of the road eating some roadkill, don't go, ew, gross. But you can still do that, let's be honest. Eating rotting meat's kind of gross. But make sure you thank your vulture friends, because without them, we might not be here. So I think Desi's done a wonderful job. Let's give him a round of applause too. Good job, buddy. You'll notice he's got this bubblegum pink face. That's because he's really excited. He's like me, I'm really excited to be here. This is one of my favorite programs that we do each year. Whenever he gets scared, his face turns white and he peeps. He's afraid of the snow, by the way. So every winter and it snows, his face turns white and he goes beep, 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 beep. And it is really cute and a little bit sad. So he always comes inside once the snow starts because apparently it's just too scary for him. Now, the next bird you're all going to know, I really don't need to introduce him. This is why you guys came out here today. This is Liberty, the American bald eagle. That's right, woo! You guys can clap for him. He's the coolest bird ever. My favorite bird at our sanctuary actually is one of our bald eagles named Captain, but he doesn't go too much because he doesn't see very well and he gets real nervous when he doesn't see stuff. But Liberty is one of our most traveled eagles. A lot of people will look at him and they go, so why are they called bald eagles? Where does that name come from? Well, bald, spelled B-A-L-D-E, is an Old English word. They all got to go to the bathroom on the stage. It's an Old English word that means white or white-headed, and he definitely has that white head. That is definitely what he is named for. Now, they don't get that white head or tail till they're about 5 years old. They start out all brown, brown head, brown tail, brown beak, brown eyes. It takes about 5 years to look like that. Okay, let's be honest. Whenever they start out, they're not all brown. When they start out, they're about the size of my fist and little fuzzy white cotton balls. But it only takes them about 10 weeks to be that big. Birds grow very, very fast. But they can't fly yet, so they gotta have a big nest because it's gotta support mom, dad, plus 2 or 3 babies that are the same size as mom and dad but can't fly yet. So they don't just have a big nest, they have the largest stick nest of any bird in the world. On average, they're 4 feet wide and 5 feet deep, but the biggest one on record was 9.5 feet wide, 20 feet deep, and it weighed 2.5 tons when it broke the tree that it was in. Now, it was not eagle breeding season, no eagles were harmed during that, but I imagine they came back next year and wondered what happened to their house. So the reasons why they get so big is, well, bald eagles, like most birds of prey, will mate for life. And if you've got the same mate, they might as well use the same nest. So every year they come back to that same nest and they add on to it. They make it bigger and bigger and bigger. They got to up that property value each year. So bald eagles are fish eagles. That means that they live around riverways, they hunt and they eat fish. And they got to have phenomenal eyesight for that. The bald eagle has one of the best eyesights of any bird that we know of. And they can see a fish near the surface of the water from over a mile away. I can't see a fish near the surface of the water if it was 2 feet in front of me. But I'm not really good with the whole water displacement thing. So they'll go down and they'll dip their feet in the water, grab the fish, and fly off with it. So they've got a couple of things to help them out with that. One, their feathers stop partway down their legs. If their feet were covered in feathers, they would get wet every time they fished. And that causes a problem. Not the, oh, they got wet, it's the, oh, that water's really cold during the winter and now those feathers will freeze, and that can lead to frostbite and hypothermia, and they wouldn't survive that. So instead, no feathers, not a problem. They also have special bumps on the bottom of their feet to help them grip onto those fish, because let's face it, fish are really slippery. And then they also have something that all raptors have. They have something called ratchet talons. People always say, are you afraid of that bird being so close to your face with that beak? Not the beak I gotta watch out for, it's those talons. And they have incredible grip strength. So if I squeeze my fist so hard, as tight as I can, that it hurts, I got about 30 PSI. He's got over 1,000. that glove's only a formality, let's be honest. This is where Mallory finds out the truth. He can go through that glove and break her arm. She did not know that prior to today. That's the life of the intern. We don't tell him it. We just go, here's a bird, there you go. We'll tell you the scary parts later. So, he grips real tight, and those talons latch shut. And it takes him a lot of effort to open them back up. So that means once he grabs that fish, well, that fish isn't going anywhere because he couldn't let go of it if he wanted to. So that fish isn't going anywhere at all. Now, the problem is, birds don't weigh a whole lot. This bird weighs like 7 pounds. That's it. They have hollow bones, makes them light enough to fly. So he can't fly off with anything really heavy. He can fly off with something about a third of his body weight. So a 2.5 pound fish. He can grab that, fly off with it. But if he happens to grab a much bigger fish, let's say he grabs a 4 or 5 pound fish, he grabs it, he latches his talons shut, and he can't fly off with it, but he can't let go. So sometimes you'll see those videos of bald eagles swimming. That is because they grabbed a fish that was too big for them and it's stuck in their feet. And they'll swim it to shore, take a break, and eat their meal. Now, bald eagles will they'll eat other things, but they're not going to catch those other things on their own. They will do as the vulture does. They'll scavenge. They'll eat dead things because it's just lying there. Why waste that meat? That's how we got Liberty. Liberty's from Florida, and well, he really liked roadkill and may have gotten hit by a car. Now, he fractured the equivalent of our collarbone. They fixed it. They released him out into the wild. Happy ending. But wait a minute. He's right there. Well, geez, he really liked that roadkill, so 3 weeks later he was eating roadkill and got hit by another car. And that one caused some permanent damage. He's got some head trauma as well as can no longer fly, but that's okay. Now he gets to eat as many dead things as he wants, so he's a pretty happy camper. He doesn't have to worry about any of those old cars anymore. So they will scavenge, but they will also steal. They are nicknamed the Pirates of the Sky because they do pillage and plunder. Why do the dirty work of hunting when somebody else can do it for you? They will steal fish from other eagles, but they will also just steal food from just about anything. At the beginning of June, there was actually an article of a bald eagle carrying off a rabbit, but attached to the rabbit was a fox. This fox had worked really hard to catch this rabbit. And that eagle said, I haven't had rabbit in a while. And went down and took that rabbit, but geez, that fox did not want to let go. Usually foxes see an eagle flying at them, they go, oh geez, and they're out of there as fast as they can. This fox wanted this rabbit. So there's a video of an eagle flying and just barely getting up in the air is this fox, and eventually the fox let go and the eagle got a nice free meal. So because they scavenge and they steal, Benjamin Franklin, who I got a picture with today, I'm now a really happy person, that's pretty awesome. He's my favorite historical figure. I was really excited. But Benjamin Franklin did not want this bird to represent America. He said, no, this bird has low moral fiber. We cannot have this bird represent the United States. He steals. We can't have that. We need a better bird than that. We need a brave, majestic bird that will protect our flocks. We need the turkey. Well, they put it to a vote, and I'm really glad this bird won out, because otherwise Thanksgiving would be kind of awkward. So we're gonna put it to a vote right now. How many of you guys want the turkey to be your national symbol? Yeah, they are pretty tasty. I can understand that. Okay, so we had a few votes for that. I think I saw 3 hands go up. How many people want the bald eagle? Okay, I'm not counting all that. So the bald eagle won out, and that's how it was back in the days. The bald eagle won out, and I'm glad that it did. And that's because of that white head and tail. See, in my opinion, this bird's perfect to represent this country because they don't get that white head and tail till they're 5 years old. So it is a status symbol for the bald eagle because you see, 7 out of 10 birds don't make it to their first birthday. So only 3 out of every 10 birds survive that first winter. And only 1 out of every 10 birds lives to be 2. If they can't figure out how to hunt and take care of themselves, they don't survive. So that white head and tail shows that not only did he survive the hardest years of his life, he did better by several more years. That white head and tail shows that he is a survivor, that he is successful, that he is a hunter, that he's powerful and strong, and that he's independent. And on top of that, bald eagles are only found in North America. So in my opinion, that bird is perfect to represent this nation. Now, they're doing a lot better. DDT is not an issue. They're doing significantly better out there in the wild, but their main threat nowadays is lead poisoning. And it's mostly from lead shot. And it's not that hunting's bad. Hunting actually helps out the environment quite a bit, but it has to do with what kind of bullets you use. If you use lead bullets, most hunters say they kill a deer, they're going to gut that deer out there and they're going to leave that gut pile out. And while we learn these guys scavenge, they're like, oh man, I love that. So he's going to eat all that. It takes just basically a speck of lead to kill that bird. So what do we do to fix this? Well, you don't have to stop hunting, but just switch to copper or steel bullets. Bam, you've made a huge difference in the lives of these birds, because it really doesn't take much to take them out. Mostly because they really do weigh nothing. Mallory will tell you he feels like he weighs 50 pounds about now, though. So since this, our national symbol, is such a cool bird, Mallory is actually going to go down over to that area. She'll work her way down the stairs around the gate. And if you want to get your picture taken with Liberty, you can. Because why get a picture of a bald eagle when you can get a picture with one? I just asked you to stand on Mallory's right-hand side, her eagle this side, because while Liberty's a good eagle, he's got a sharp beak and sharp talons, and Mallory makes an excellent meat shield. She's really good at it. Don't worry, Mallory doesn't bite, though. You can get as close to Mallory as you would like. So with that, I would like to thank you guys for coming out here today. Thank you for having us out here, and I hope you enjoy the rest of your 4th of July.
101.5 KPLA's Good Morning with Emily and Ross. And
I'm Ross, and we are very happy to have you here this evening. We'd like to welcome you to Salute to America Capitol Celebration 2018. Thank all of you for coming out on this beautiful day that just keeps getting better and better.
Sure does, and every year these 4th of July events here in beautiful downtown Jefferson City are quite an undertaking. First of all, we'd like to thank our sponsors, Riley Automotive Group and Midwest Block and Brick. Their sponsorship of the concert you're about to enjoy tonight, Dr. Vegas, an awesome St. Louis dance band.
And of course, after that, it is the spectacular Missouri Credit Union Red, White, and Boom Sky Concert, which we are very happy and proud to say is simulcast on our sister Cumulus media station, Nash FM 100.1.
And something really special this year, there is going to be ground pyrotechnics right around the stage here that will coordinate with the Sky Concert. So you get a double show this year.
We also will pass along some information that maybe you were not aware of, that this festival is run by a non-for-profit foundation.
Absolutely. This joint partnership with the state of Missouri, the city of Jefferson, Cole County, and Jefferson City Area Chamber of Commerce, and the Jefferson City Convention and Visitors Bureau has made it possible to expand the sights and attractions and offer you the largest festival to date. We really appreciate all the efforts of the foundation board and the working committee, led by Chair Angela Nail, who worked hard to make this a success.
And of course, Mayor Carrie Turgeon, the foundation chair. Of course, this entire event would not be possible without the generous contributions of the rest of our major sponsors, and that includes Hawthorne Bank, Not Agency, Central Bank, the Missouri Lottery, Joe Mockins, Capital City, Champs Chicken, and Scholastic, as well as our media sponsors, which happen to include our group of stations, the Cumulus Media Group, Lamar Advertising, the News Tribune, of course the networks of Mid-Missouri, KMIZ 17, and Fox, and I think all of the media sponsors deserve a round of applause. We'd appreciate that.
Now, how many of you have been here both days of Salute to America? How many of you were here last night and today? We want to say thank you to some more people for some very successful events we had last night. The Not Agency opening ceremony, the Lincoln University Salute to America Parade, and the River Region Credit Union Little Mr. and Miss Independence Contest. Hurley and Maggie from the Little Mr. and Miss Independence Contest will be back next year at our opening ceremony leading the Pledge of Allegiance.
And you know, there are a lot of people here working that really are behind the scenes. You don't know what it takes to put on an event like this, and they are the volunteers. And I think we owe a big round of applause to the very dedicated and talented group who's donated countless hours of their time to make this event a huge success. Thank each and every one of our volunteers for this year.
And how many of you were here for the parade last night? Well, a lot of that parade was because of our sponsors at Lincoln University. And right now I'd like to bring up Misty Young. She is from the Lincoln University. She's going to talk a little bit about the parade and this year's theme for Salute to America and this year's parade winners. Misty.
Thanks, Emily and Ross. So I hope everybody did have a chance to come out to the parade last night. It really was a good time, and it was a great kickoff for this week's activities. So we're going to go ahead and tell you who our parade winners were. Last night's theme was Coming to America, Celebrating Diversity. And so if we have any representatives from the floats that won, if you can meet us over here at the side of the stage, because I don't know if you can get to the stage. Security is pretty tight up here. So if you can meet us at the side of the stage, we'll make sure that you get your trophy. So our best interpretation of theme was from float number 34. That was Tim Anderson. Our best musical entry was from Mo Blues. That was float number 39.
They're playing on the Madison stage right now.
So they will not be here, okay? Also, our best float was the Topeka JC Submarine Veterans, float number 9. And our best political entry was Jeff Helsher, float number 14, running for county commissioner. So he was our best political entry. And we don't have a trophy for this person, but we wanted to make sure that we gave an honorable mention to Mr. Harry Reid, who was float number 15. He served our country very honorably, and so we wanted to make sure that we mentioned Mr. Harry Reid.
Yes, he's an amazing World War II veteran.
Surely was. So those were our winners from last night, but I brought a couple of friends with me tonight that are also winners. Standing behind me, and I'm going to move out of the way so that everybody can see them, are the Lincoln University Blue Tiger Women's Track Team. These ladies right here are your 2018 NCAA Division II Outdoor Champions. They have actually won track championships 13 times. These ladies are fantastic, and we're glad to have them at Lincoln University and here in Jefferson City. So ladies, we salute America, but we also salute you.
They were our parade grand marshals this year, so thank you so much to the Lincoln University track team. Congratulations. All right, we want to say thank you to some more sponsors from some of the events you might have seen going on over the last couple of days. You might have seen award-winning sand carvers Marion Vandenbroek and Dan Belcher. They were working on their masterpiece, a castle and dragon in the Extreme Body and Paint sand pit at the corner of Madison and High.
And we also want to let you know some of the things that will still be going on through this evening, such as Missouri American Water Carnival Land over on Capitol and Monroe is open until 11, as will the Dr. Pepper Food Court with all kinds of great festival food, which is located in front of the Capitol.
The Budweiser Beer Garden down by Eris's Pizza has music going on until about 11:30 on the Riley Toyota Scion stage.
And for your dining and wining pleasure until 10 p.m., take advantage of the outdoor beer gardens and cafes from Grand Cafe, J. Finney, Spectators, Sweet Smoke Barbecue, and Grand Cafe.
Did any of you take part in the Red, Bike, and Blue Family Fun Ride down in the Mill Bottoms this morning? That was sponsored by Red Wheel Bike Shop and was a totally fun event. I saw some pictures from that this morning. Looked really fun. Over on the 100 and 200 blocks of High Street, you found the East Side West Side Association's Avenues of the America on High. And there was lots of great vendors out there today.
And of course, excuse me, I apologize for my raspy voice. I decided to take the holiday off today. Keller Williams LO Realty's Kids Zone is such a great place for the kids to go on Madison Street in front of the Governor's Mansion with lots of hands-on activities, including free books from Scholastic, which we really appreciate.
And down on Capitol, you might have seen one of the 3 different areas they had down there, the Jefferson Bank Heroes, Cole County Historical Society Heritage Village stage, and Show Me Missouri down in the Carnahan Memorial Gardens.
And another place that's always very popular, and we thank them, Joe Machens Capital City Adventure Zone on the 300 block of High Street. They've been having exhibitions all day long, so we thank them for being a part of the Salute to America this year.
And the Extreme Stage by Jefferson City Parks has music still continuing tonight up until the fireworks. You can check them out later. All of those free events were brought to you by the generosity of Joe Machens Capital City. There's so much great entertainment that has happened over the last few days, including the J. Fenny's hot dog eating contest featuring Nathan's Hot Dogs. Now, this year was a record-setting year, the most hot dogs ever eaten here in Jefferson City. Brandon Clark, the garbage disposal, that's his name. He ate 35 hot dogs this year.
Could you do that?
Not
Anybody
35.
else do that? Do 35 hot dogs?
Nope.
Raise your hand. Anybody do
next year-
35? I saw one hand. All right.
It's worth doing. Next year, sign up for this hot dog eating contest. You could win, well, if Brandon's not here, you could win $300. But our amateur top 2 eaters get $50 from J. Fenny's. Again, the downtown Jefferson City stage was presented by our friends at Echo Water Systems with generous underwriting and support by the Mo Blues Association, KJLU Lincoln University, and the Missouri Council of the Arts.
And of course, we still have a great concert coming up, but it's even not over then. At dusk tonight, following the concert, we'll get ready for the Missouri Credit Union's Red, White, and Boom Sky concert. Again, the music to it will be simulcast on our sister station, Nash FM 100.1.
And like I said, those pyrotechnics are going to be amazing this year, thanks to J&M Displays and our generous sponsor, Missouri Credit Union. Now we've got a little bit more to do, but first we want to bring out Chris Shepperly to talk a little bit about the Salute to America Foundation. Come on up here, Chris.
Thank you. I'm Chris Shepperly. I'm the Vice Chair of the Salute to America Board. And I'm just here tonight to thank two of our really great sponsors, Midwest Block and Brick and the Riley Automotive Group, Riley Chevrolet. And so I just really want to introduce Kevin Riley, one of the owners of Riley Chevrolet Auto Group. And if we could just give a big round of applause for these two great sponsors for our main stage.
Thank you, Chris. I don't have much to say other than it's the 4th of July, and we have to give a big shout out to all our active and all our veteran military people out there for what they've done for our country. Secondly, my brothers and I have been helping out with Salute to America for a number of years, and we appreciate what everyone does in the community. We like to give back, and these events are something that we feel like we need to be doing, and we've been doing it for a long time. Chevrolet store's been in Jefferson City since 1936. Kind of proud of that. 3rd generation, have 4th generation working for us out at the store. So we welcome everyone to come out and see us sometime or another. We're there to take care of you, and I think it's about time, isn't it, Chris?
Yeah.
Like the world's most famous band. I think
right.
we got them here tonight. Dr. Vegas from St. Louis. We all know them, and we all know how good they are.
Go ahead and support our local sponsors, Riley Chevrolet and Midwest Block and Brick. And I was out and bought a new Chevy here last week.
Yes,
so
you did. Thank you.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
Great people out at Midwest Block and Brick, too. Enjoy your evening. It's free. That's what's nice.